welcome to the Resilience Hotline with Jessica. Today is one moment. I
Your
have
assistant is here.
my tech team making sure that I'm live on all the areas I'm supposed to be live. I am 2 minutes late because I made sure that I was fed before the live stream so that we would have all the energy we need.
Hey, teach them about women hormones and stuff. That's a
Yes.
helpful one. All right, you're live on IG.
That's a way to be resilient. Make sure
That is a very good point, Mitch. One way being resilient applies to women is that you aren't able to produce oxytocin. You aren't well fed. If you don't know what oxytocin is, that is the chemical that allows you to enjoy yourself in a moment with whatever. So I believe I have everything set up correctly. I'm in a different space today than my last live stream, as you can see in the background. This is Aristotle's room, so he's got tons of fun posters. All right. It is 5:03 now, so thank you. Perfect timing. All right, this first page here, let's get right into it. The world is resilient right now. Are you aware of this? Are you aware of how fragile, just how right now? The world, at any drop of a moment, one failed system, and there would be utter chaos within a day. Think about it. If the food distribution system went down, how many people would know how to grow their own food? How can you grow your own food in the time necessary before you run out? If you don't have anything stored up in your house. I mean, there would be literally chaos. Within 3 days max, if alone went down. Okay, how about if suddenly we were no longer getting gas? How many of you are reliant on your vehicle that requires gas to get to a job, to make money, for you to buy your own food and your basic needs? Guys, our system is so fragile. It's so fragile. The water line went out near you, and the city was not able to fix it. There's so many elements about our system where each individual is abdicating responsibility for their basic needs. And in doing so, it creates fragility. Okay? Not only that, but then you look at our political system. You look at almost every system out there right now essentially is, but it comes back to each individual. Because think about it. You could blame the food distribution system in that moment if it went down for you not having food. But is it actually the food distribution system's fault? Or is it your fault because you were in the food distribution system instead of taking responsibility for your own food? Think about it. If we all take responsibility for the system not being resilient, we'll no longer be dependent on that system. And we will become resilient. How many of you is your mood contingent on the state of the world? Contingent on the news line? Contingent on what you see on social media? Contingent on whether I'm live or not? I mean, outside of yourself, your stability internally is dependent on something outside of yourself. That is not resilient. That is the opposite of resilience. Okay, guys? I just want to share this quote here. What fascinates me is that hardly anyone is wondering what we're actually doing. Most accept the work, eat, entertainment, sleep cycle as life and have no desire for a deeper understanding of our purpose in this universe. Look at the world right now. It's literally on fire, burning up. We are not resilient. And so that's why I'm doing these every Tuesday at 5, because the state of the world is not resilient. Each individual is not resilient. And I am excited to support that to change. All right, just figuring out. Here we go. First topic. We've got 6 today. 6 topics of resiliency. Your 6 steps to resilience. How to learn. You think, oh, I went to school for 12 plus years. I know how to learn. Okay. I'm keep going to the side because this mic just covers my face. Let's see if I can adjust the mic without making it turn off. If anyone has been watching my husband's live streams, then you're aware that we need a new mic. Okay. We're good. You can still hear me and now you can see my face. Okay. So I know you think you know how to learn. I know because I was there too. I mean, to a certain extent, right? Like I was not the type of person who easily got A's in school. I was not the type of person who didn't have to study for a test. That wasn't me. Okay, I had to study a lot in order to get, B's and C's. And so it's not that school came easily to me, but within myself, in my life, I feel like I might be yelling because of these headphones. Let's switch it up. I'm going to take the headphones off because I'm not listening to anything. Let's unplug them. I definitely think I was yelling because I had the headphones on. Okay. Connect default Mac Pro speaker. Am I still on the mic now that I took? Yes. Okay. We should be good. Mitch, if you're listening, put in the comment section if I messed it up by. So, for such a long time in my life, there was this little inkling of I know enough. It was like, not that I knew it all, but that it was like an attitude of I don't necessarily need to learn more to create the impact that I want to create in the world. And that stemmed from a few different things. One, my lack of confidence in my ability to really develop new skills and learn, but also just my experience in school, which is how you define learning. Hey, Lele, one moment. My beautiful dog. Let's see if you can see her. Come here, lady. And then I'll kick her out. Come here, baby. Come say hi to everybody on the live stream, quick, before I kick you out. She's really big. Here she is. Here's lady. Yes. Okay, let's go out. Oh, baby. Good. Yes. Good girl. Yes. All right. She came to find me because my husband took the children to get some milk and saw I was the only one in the house. She's like, where? Anywho, so I just, it wasn't that I felt like I knew everything, but it was experience in school as well as just a general attitude I've seen most of people in reality have, which is to learn more. They're not very teachable. What is teachability? Willingness to learn and willingness to change. Most people are satisfied with how they're living. Most people are okay with their day-to-day, and they're not really looking to change. And there's this quote. It's like, Hey, Mitch. All right, 1 second, guys. You're on speakerphone, Mitch, so I can do this. I just need to clear out some tabs.
Yeah, close Zoom and Telegram. You should be fine.
My
See, this
tech
is being
team.
resilient. This is being resilient real time.
Yeah, real-time resilience is tech team coming in to help. You have a bunch of tabs at the bottom. Is it better now? Is that sufficient? Hello.
I'm sure it's great, but I'll tune back in.
Okay. All right, bye. So, where was I at? Where was my train of thought on resilience and how to learn? Sharing about where I was at, where most people are at. Yes, most people. Oh, teachability. Yes, guys, when I learned about teachability, I realized that I wasn't very teachable. What I needed to learn was, I always enjoyed learning new things, new facts, new whatever. But as far as willingness to change, I was comfortable. I was pretty comfortable with how my life was going. And it took me certain tools to really start to shift how I looked at the world and how much I realized I needed to change. I needed to learn more. It showed me how much I know. Okay. So, how to learn is first realizing you need to learn because the average person doesn't think they need to learn. The average person is only willing to learn something if it is absolutely necessary. Maybe it's for work. And even then, you're doing the bare minimum. I mean, guys, if this is you, if you feel like you're really not learning anything, the wake up call you need to realize real resilience is you constantly learning new things, you constantly being willing to change, being willing to question how your life is going and saying, oh, yeah, if it keeps going this way, I might be satisfied for me, for my family, or for my community. So I need to change. I need to change. Mm. Mitch, this tea coffee, very good. So, how to learn? Well, that was a big question in my life for a very long time. A lot of things. I tried different apps on my phone. I tried different techniques. In college, I took this anatomy physiology class to learn, the name of every muscle in the body and every bone and all the things. But you didn't have to just learn about it. You had to spell it. And that was something previously in my life that I struggled with a lot. And so I literally had a notebook that I filled full of these words. I would write on it, I'd fill up an entire page. And when I say that, I mean like literally filling up the entire page with just so that guys, it was ridiculous how much extra time I was taking to try and learn things when I just didn't have the right tools. And getting exposed to the right tools dramatically changed the whole trajectory of my life. It dramatically changed my ability to take in information and apply it to my life in an effective way, rapidly, so that I could actually change for real. Getting the right tools led me to be actually confident, led me to know that I could learn anything necessary to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve in my life and to create the impact that I wanted to create with 100% certainty. Okay, before getting access to this tool, I literally had accepted that as much as I knew was going to have to be enough because I couldn't learn anything new. to try and create what I wanted to in my life. So much has unlocked for me. I don't know if you've ever experienced this where you've read a page of a book and then at the end of the page, you realize I did not retain any of that information. I have no idea what I just read. That used to be me all the time with listening to audios. Okay. I would listen to an audio and then I gotta rewind that. I don't remember what they said. And then I'd have to slow down the audio. So it was going like 7.75, right? And then now it's completely different. I'm not rereading pages. I'm able to read so much faster. Like all these different things where you wouldn't think it really affects your life. It does. It affects not only your confidence, but it affects how rapidly you can change and integrate in your life. And that is a very important thing that we need now more than ever. You look at the average population in the United States, guess what grade level they're reading that? Yeah, I'm waiting for you to guess. Yes, you listening. What reading level is the average person at? 6th grade or below. And a significant chunk of that population is functionally illiterate. Do you understand what functionally illiterate means? That means those people cannot read a pill bottle. They cannot read a road sign. They are functionally illiterate. A very large chunk of our population. I have personally, handed out hundreds of reading assessments for people. And people consistently score very, very poorly. Reading, spelling, and comprehension. Very poorly. Okay, the average person is not well. What were we taught? We were taught how to regurgitate information. Like, here, memorize all of this, and then once you're tested, that's it. You don't need to retain that. You're done. Because that's not how reality works. I'm constantly testing myself in the garden, year after year, figuring out, is this working or not? If I had, I think I said this analogy on my last, I needed to learn how to grow all my own food for a year and do it this year, I would literally be dead. The way the school system is set up is not how reality works. And also, you're just taught to memorize information that's only using literally your conscious 0.5% of your brain's ability to compute. That's just, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Not actually utilizing how your body learns effectively. And so that's one of the things that we're radically changing, my husband and I, as well as the community we're a part of, is supporting people to learn on that unconscious level where you know it automatically, like you know your name. You don't have to rememorize your name. You know your name definitively. Do you have to think about your heart beating? Guys, literally imagine this. Please play along, okay? Work with me. Picture this. Every time your heart beat, you had to think in order for it to beat. So every time it beat, it was because you told it to beat. How long would you live if you had to think in order for your heart to beat? Not very long. Not very long at all. Yeah. You're unconscious, okay? Your heart is beating and you ain't even thinking about it, okay? That's what we do. We harness that. We harness that because it is so much more powerful than just trying to memorize information. It's learning on a physical level. And guys, it's so crazy. We've got these kids using this tool. They're consistently reading 3 levels above what they should be. They're amazing. Like my son, for example, he's 3. He's known his lowercase and uppercase alphabet for over a year. He's known his, 1 through 10 for over a year. He's been reading now for over 6 months, basic words and spelling them as well. Guys, it blows me away. Like the other day, he even doubted himself. What word was it? It was a 6-letter word, and I don't remember what word it was. But it specifically remember a 6-letter word because I asked him and I was just like, "Hey, how do you spell this word?" Because he's like, I don't know if I can spell a 6-letter word without typing it." Because this tool's you type with this tool. And I was like, well, why don't you just try? Why don't you just try? What's the first letter? And then he spells the whole word. Okay, not looking at anything, no references, no hints, nothing. He just knows. My child is 3. He's 3. Okay, it blows me away. Okay, the consistency and the results that these kids are getting. And it's the same tool that I use for myself. I mean, guys, this is the education revolution that we need to actually resilient as a population. Do you see where AI and automation is right now? Actually, have you been paying any attention or have you been living under a rock? Okay, if you haven't been paying attention, you need to be watching my husband's live stream in the mornings, Cameron Cope's live stream in the evenings, and you need to watch on Sunday mornings. That will help you get up to speed. Maybe go rewatch a few of their podcasts and a few of their live streams as well. Okay. You got to watch a couple every day to get caught up, right? We've had, I don't know, probably over 300 now, maybe 400 podcasts in Self Perfected. Mitchell's have over 40 live streams. And Cameron, I don't know how many, he's probably had over 50 live streams now. So, yes, okay, the state of is at an exponentially rapid rate. And if you are not exponentially increasing your ability to process information, you're left behind. It's going to be a situation very similar to the Matrix, right? It may not look exactly the same. But that's essentially what you're going to be used for. There's already patents out there for, I made a reel, okay, Mitchell taught me, guys. If you were on my last live stream, I was mentioning how I didn't know how to toggle, but now he taught me. So let's see if I can do it. See if I can toggle and show you one of my live streams I made. Okay, Instagram. We're going to share. Is this the right Instagram? Maybe not. Okay, let's toggle to a different Instagram here. 1 second. I want to mess up with my live stream. So different. Share this tab instead. Okay. I'm going to have to mute it. Is it logged into my account or Mitchell's? We'll find out in a moment. Oh, it's my account. Let's go. Okay. I made a reel about this patent the other day. I was in the garden, I think. Yeah, let's see. Okay. These techno elitists came out with a patent in 2018 where they can literally mine your physical body to generate cryptocurrency. Are you going to allow human battery just charging up this techno-feudal system? Are you okay? Aware? So here's the patent right here. Techno elitists. I don't know if you can see my cursor. Came out with a patent. Do you see? There's a in 2018 where they can. Guys, let's see. Stop sharing. Go back to my life. Okay. It's already on the trajectory of if you're not able to keep up If you're not able to process information fast enough and incorporate it into your own life and actually be really resilient in your ability to learn, that you're going to be just used as a battery. And if you don't comply, you're not going to get your stipend that you need to survive. And that stipend is going to have a lot of contingencies. If you've been paying attention to cities and you will own nothing and you will be happy. I mean, if you haven't been paying attention, again, you've been under a rock. You need to watch the content our community is putting out. Okay, stop living under a rock. Be aware of where the world is headed. Now more than ever, guys, this is going to dramatically affect you. It already is dramatically affecting a lot of people. Okay? We have an amazing tool that will help you be able to learn information very rapidly and into your life. It changed my life. It's setting up my children for success, where as a mother, I am 100% certain that my children will be 100% set up for their future. All mothers need that certainty. I know so many moms who are struggling, who see the state of the world and they're uncertain about if their children will be set up for success. Rightfully so. They are not being supported, and the system definitely is not supporting them. That's what we do. That's why I'm here right now, sharing, okay? So, how to learn is one of the most important things. I would say the most important. And guess what learning leads to? The more you learn, the more you realize the second step to resilience. This second step is how to forgive. Because the more you learn, the more you realize you're holding on to a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Okay? I know I was. Because guess what? In the first 7 years of your life, and you're just absorbing and absorbing and absorbing everything you see. And if you're not being supported to fundamentally understand it, and if you're not being fundamentally supported to understand reality in those first years, you're set up for success as far as how you learn or how to forgive, then that is your core programming that you run on for the rest of your life. Unless you begin to actually forgive it for real. Okay? I had so much I was holding on to, whether it was between self-image or, like I explained in the last setting, my confidence in my ability to learn, or traumas that you go through. That's another thing that can get into your traumas that you go through. If it's enough trauma, it also gets into that unconscious programming. And so if you a lot of trauma, which it's so funny because the average person thinks, oh, I haven't had any trauma. Oh, I haven't had any trauma. People don't understand what trauma is fundamentally. Okay? If you were not supported to fundamentally understand how it works from a very age, and you were not supported how to learn from a very young age, how to forgive, if you were yelled at as a child, if you were ever hit as a child, if you were disciplined instead of supported to understand, I mean, there's a lot of different ways somebody can experience trauma. And then just say, brush it off and say, well, it's not as bad as what other people have it. I definitely didn't experience trauma. Oh, my parents did the best that they could. Oh, this, oh, that. Okay. Collectively, we're all being traumatized by the system at place, regardless of what your home life looked like. Okay? Did you watch any movies as a kid? Did you watch TV? Or, guys, this is crazy. This is going to be crazy. But I'm sure there could be somebody watching who was born in a phase where in the first 7 years of their life, they had an iPad. Is that so? Should we look that up? Let's look that up. Let's look that up. Okay, so this is going to be good if I go to a new tab. I'm not sharing the screen, but when did iPads come out? 10. So that person would be 16 right now. There might be somebody 16 watching this. But think about it. Even if they were 20, got an iPad at 4 years old. Like the iPad kids watching this right now. Do you understand that there's literally an epidemic of kids who are literally experiencing they're calling digital autism because they're being exposed to a screen at way too young of an age? That's trauma. That is trauma that their body's holding on to. Have you ever looked into okay. I'm going to do some research here for just this is going to blow you away. Okay. So here's what the AI overview. Let's see. How do I share this screen? So we go back here. So, Japanese researcher Dr. Emoto conducted controversial experiments in the 1990s suggesting that human consciousness, words, and emotions physically altered the molecular structures of water. He claimed that water intentions formed beautifully symmetrical ice crystals, while negative intentions yielded distorted patterns. All right. So, I don't know if you can see this since I changed it up. But yeah, this guy did a whole deep dive into how essentially words can affect water and what a bunch of negative things over a long period of time, and eventually it withers and dies. Or you speak to it positively and it thrives, right? If all of its other basic needs are met, supposedly, right? Well, there has been a lot of studies done on this where water holds information. Well, what is your body made up of, friends? What percentage of the human body is made up of water? Let's get an exact percentage for you. Wow, this is crazy. The brain is 75% water. The blood is 83% water. The heart is 79% water. Bones 22%. Bones, guys, your bones. Your bones are literally 2% water. Muscles are 75% water. Liver is 85% water. Kidneys is 83% water. This is crazy. So roughly your body is water. Wow. That's a lot of water. Your body is made up of all this water, and water holds information, okay? And if you got a bunch of information being stored in your body that is not supporting you, guys, have you ever seen somebody who's chronically stressed? You've all seen that person. Okay, I'm going to share my screen after I get this pulled up. I'm doing a lot of pulling up stuff this time. This is great. Let's get What does chronic stress? Just giving me all just clip art pictures, not like a real person. Let's see. Let's be more literal. Show me someone chronically stressed. No, same. They just show me the same pictures. Well, you all know what it looks like. They look like they're 10 years older than how old they are. They've got the dark circles under their eyes, and maybe it's a little sucked in, and they just literally look like the life is being sucked out of them. Yeah. That's because when you hold on to all these emotions and feelings, it dramatically affects your body. When you hold on to patterns from childhood, these kids are just being forced to listen to an authority, being their parents initially, and then leading into school, being their teachers. And guys, you were never supported to be a self-authority, for you to understand what it looks like for you to take authority of yourself, for yourself, to take authority for this world that we're creating, to take authority for the consequences happening in the world. You were said to put it outside of yourself. You were literally manipulated to be highly controllable by the global elite. Start. Man, my whole life, I really dealt with a lot of issues, okay? From eating disorders to being super depressed and anxious, substance abuse. And you would think, oh, she must have been having a lot of substances if it was substance abuse. No. Guys, listen. You don't have to be consuming that much quantity of substances for it to be substance abuse. My internal state of being was contingent on whether I had substances or not. Where it was like, if I was super stressed, that's what I turned to. If I was super lonely, if I was depressed, if I needed to be more social or this or that, like whatever, it's all the excuses, right? And that never fundamentally supported me to take a real look at what was fundamentally creating all of this chaos in my life, where my internal state, I had no direction over it. And that my internal state totally dictated how I lived my day-to-day life. Well, that is an issue. If how you live your day-to-day life is totally contingent on how you feel, and you over how you feel, and you're blaming everything outside of yourself how you feel, you're completely controllable. Do you understand that? In order to actually become resilient, you need to become a self-director where you are stable no matter what's going on out. So I got exposed to fundamentally shifted my whole life. I also went through a serious car accident when I was in high school. And I went through years and years of surgeries. Just the most, you guys. Like I almost lost my, I don't know if you can see the scars on my leg, but I almost lost my leg in this car accident. And I had to have you guys ever seen those little like halos that people wear around their necks if they've got like a broken neck or something? I had one of those on my leg. Let me see here. See here. What do I want to show you? let's get something pretty mild. Let's not do anything too crazy. Nothing too crazy on the live stream today. I'm going to show you this one because then okay, here we go. Yes, this is the one I'm going to show you. That way it's not inside of this. It's called a Taylor spatial frame, which is just a specific kind of frame that I had on my leg in order to save it. All right, check it out. Chickadee, check, check, check. So I had 3 rings and 12 different pins that were, well, I had 10 pins screwed into my tibia and 2 that went all the way through my leg. And I had to transport around, do the most, lengthen it back out, and all this stuff because I had an infection that had eaten away most of a big chunk of my bone, and it was starting to eat up my tissue around my bone as well. And there was a lot of trauma that happened in that process, not only from the car accident itself, but then I found a lot of my identity in playing sports growing up. And post car accident, I obviously couldn't play sports initially. And the doctors were telling me that I'd never play sports again and that I was likely going to lose my leg. And then after I had this frame, you may not walk again. You for sure won't play sports. And, you know, because I was sharing earlier how I had no confidence in my ability to learn, I was like, I'll just have to be a professional athlete. Woo! That goes right out the window. With that for me, right? There's a lot to process. Well, luckily, this writing process has supported me to process a lot of that trauma. And what's crazy is in processing that, guys, I went through so much therapy, physical therapy for my limbs. Between I had occupational therapy, I had my hand, I had physical therapy for my leg, all the different things, right? Well, I also tried so many different alternative methods because I was having so much chronic nerve pain, right? So I'm getting deep tissue work done, I'm getting massage done, I'm getting acupuncture done, I'm getting energy work done and Reiki, and I'm getting chiropractic done. I'm doing those salt floats, salt tank floats. Put in the comments if you know what it's called. I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot to genuinely recover physically, to get back to where I was before, because I was experiencing a lot of nerve damage, nerve pain. And they had me on different medications. I didn't like being on the medications. And so I was really trying to heal my body. But it wasn't until I forgave the trauma that my body actually started to feel better. Guys, it was so intense. I had so pain. Like, I felt like an old lady. I couldn't even sweep the floor. I couldn't even do the dishes. Like, it was intense. It was very intense. It was obstructing my ability to do my day-to-day stuff. And a part of being resilient, being capable of doing all the things that I needed to do to meet my own basic needs, meet my family's basic, support my family, and raise boys, and to go out and build in a community and put on events and do all this stuff that I had so much more that I'm going to be on this, right? And care for large animals. We've got a cow coming next month. All these different physical body. If I hadn't walked through this process to heal myself, there's no way I'd be able to be doing what I'm doing right now. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so that is a part of resilience. your physical body to be capable of doing all the things you need to do to be resilient. And so, forgiveness, yes. Yes. And I also teach my boys the same process because it's so supportive to, in a moment, recognize what you're participating in and to commit yourself to live differently. And so let's move on to step number 3, relationships as agreements. This is also a very core. I mean, all of these are. That's why they're in this presentation, right? Give me a moment. Okay. So, every time I touch the cord or I touch the mic, I'm like, oh, is it still going? Relationship as agreements. Okay. If you start your relationship, I made a reel with Mitchell the other day. Let's show you the reel. Are you ready to see another reel, my friends? Which Instagram is it? This one. All right. Mitchell. Is your relationship based on how the other person makes you feel? Or is it based on what you create together? Okay.
I recommend that one. Do that one.
Why is that, Mitchell?
So if you just base your relationship on how you feel, well, every day is going to be a roller coaster. And guess what? Don't I feel a little different? Versus saying, no, I'm with this person for my life. This is the vision we create together. And then it keeps getting better and better with each passing day. That's our recommendation. Right, Jess?
Oh, yeah. Is your relationship based? So why that is because it's so true. So many people start their relationships. It makes them feel. That is the opposite of resilient, my friends. Your mental state and your relationship, your entire relationship with another being on them. You have no power in that situation. You are setting yourself up to fail. You're setting that relationship up to fail. I mean, at this point in my life, it's so obvious that that's why I'm laughing. But that's what people are doing. And that's what you're more than likely doing, is starting relationships on how you feel and not on agreements. And when I say agreements, you may say, oh, what do you mean by agreements? That sounds crazy. It's pretty simple. Like my relationship with Mitchell, for example. We agree we're going to hold each other to our utmost potentials. We agree that we're going to consider all life when making decisions. We agree to raise our children to be as effective as possible. We agree on a lot of things like that. We agree on 14 basic principles, okay? These are, let's pull it up. Here we go, guys. I'm going to share my screen in just a moment. Boom, boom, boom. I like sharing my screen. Yeah. Here we go. All right. So these are some principles that Mitchell and I have agreed to live out with each other in our relationship. And it's so cool because a point of rest or a point of accountability for ourselves and for each other fundamentally shifts how much we can build, how much we can create, how fruitful and abundant our relationship is, because we're not in fear of the other person leaving, breaking up, or any of that. Like, we've never had that thought once. Not once. You know why? Because we've made agreements in our relationship and we've held them. And we didn't base our relationship on how we feel, because feelings are fleeting. People change. But what we agree on is not, okay? So, principle of what's best for all, principle of self-honesty, the principle of self-perfection through self-creation, the principle of investigate all things and keep it as good, the principle of self-responsibility, the principle of self-awareness, the principle of you would like to receive, the principle of self-trust, the principle of making love real, honoring life in all forms, the principle as agreements. Guys, let's read that one. It seems pretty spot on for what we're talking about, don't you think? Individuals coming together to support the manifestation of the best possible versions of ourselves and each other, nurturing each other's potential to transform weaknesses into strength, creating a safe space for healthy expression of intimacy and sexuality. Let's go up here. The principle of making love real, nurturing and honoring the utmost potential in every individual, including myself, wherein love is not a feeling or emotion, but an action that is lived by to support without compromising myself or the other, without fear of losing the relationship or the feelings associated to love, and without accepting or allowing less than my own or my partner's utmost potential. The principle of visible physical body as my temple. Just some examples of principles that Mitchell and I have agreed to live in our relationship. And if you see the value of this, then you have to realize that you're already accepting and allowing relationships as agreements unintentionally, tacitly, passively. You're agreeing. I'll rub some of you the wrong way. You might get a little heated by it. Okay? You're agreeing with the state of the world. Those are some agreements that you're making without you. You're accepting that all of us have been accepting and allowing this system that's currently in place that does not consider all life. What is an example of something Earth has an abundance of that we're simply not distributing effectively enough, that directly affects humans' survival? That's right, food. Hello? We've accepted the world system, the money system as is, where they put profit over everything, that we don't have equally valued in all of the places around the world, to the point where not everybody's able to have enough food every day when the world has an abundance of food. If you, I'm so glad that Mitchell taught me how to look things up while I'm live streaming. Guys, how much food waste is there every day? You need to be aware of this. Guys, this is crazy. Over 1 billion meals of edible food are wasted. That is crazy. Approximately 150 tons of food are trashed daily. Whoa. Approximately a trillion food here is thrown out. Guys, that is crazy. 1 billion meals every day? I didn't even know it was this much. How many people don't have enough food daily? Guys, 673 million individuals. Did we not just say there's a billion? That's 127 extra meals. So not only we could eat everybody, but we could still throw 300 million food, 300 million meals away. That's so crazy. And you're like, oh, that's not sustainable to just give everybody food. Yeah, that's why. What was my first slide in this presentation? How to learn is the most important aspect of becoming resilient. How many of you can honestly say that you know how to grow your own food? A year's worth of your own food. You know how to raise animals. Like, all these people out here are making all these crazy claims about there's no way that we could feed the population because of XYZ reason or because of religious reasons or whatever. Not distracted, playing all these political themes and warmongering and entertaining the world away. Have you ever looked into how much the Hollywood movie budget is? Guys. Oh, I looked it up one time. And the amount of money that it took to produce and that they profited off of the Avatar movie alone could have fed the world a year. It could have fed all the people not having enough food for a whole year. Guys, we don't have our priorities straight. You know why? Because right now, our agreement in this is to be self-interested only. I'm good. I just want my entertainment. I'm good. Don't bother me. I don't want to have to worry about trusting anybody else with anything. I'm just going to do my own thing. Be self-interested only. Hello? You're co-creating a reality where we have a post-trust society where we no longer trust our neighbors. We no longer, and did we actually ever trust each other to begin with? No. Then we trust each other. That's pathetic. Us as a population are severely the opposite of resilient. So just gonna go with weak, fragile. Guys, one of my husband's favorite words, I love this word. It has now become one of my favorite. Anti-fragile. Things that disorder. So, a property of systems that thrive and grow stronger from stress, volatility, and disorder. Fragile things that resist change. Have you ever looked into when we're good? There's just a sound outside my window. Have you ever looked into what is it? Some kind of martial art where they wins. They will trees to do micro fractions in their bones so that their bones can grow back harder and more resilient. Guys, most of the population off their couch. They couldn't even bother to make their own food. They're just going to order from DoorDash. They're going to, there's not a lot about the state of the world. I got to get by myself. I just got to entertain myself. I just got to get by for myself. There's a lot of people too that really like how to get out of this rat race. I'm trying my best, but it's not enough. I'm barely afford rent and groceries. That is the reality for a lot of people. Okay. But we've collectively decided that the resources on this planet are not going to be used effectively. They're being used to prop up the global elite puppets, right? And they're putting on a show. They're putting on a puppeteer show for the population right now. Between all the threatened wars and the, what is that? The Strait of Hormuz being closed down. All the guys, you just watch the show. You're watching the show all the time. The headlines, posts, all the stimulation, all the state of the world, all current events, everything that's happening. Instead of us all focused and collectively figuring out systems that meet human basic needs in a way that doesn't destroy this planet, we're just destroying the planet and being the first because somebody else is going to destroy it if I don't. That doesn't make any sense. That is opposite of resilient. That is robustly fragile. Doing this because everybody else is doing this, and if anything goes wrong, you're absolutely gonna cripple and fall. Elon Musk is all like, man, we gotta get the ability to go to Mars because when this world goes to shit, then we gotta get up there. They're all gotta upload my consciousness to the AI so that I can live forever and not be contingent on the physical state of the planet. They're absolute puppets that are not actually living in a way that considers all life. If you want to be resilient for real, you wouldn't only have agreements with other people. You yourself how you go about living your life in this life. Stop living for a different life. Guys, life responsibility for, because it's the only life that we can be absolutely certain about. This life. And look what we're collectively creating. How about we start to create something different? Okay, we're going to go on to the next slide. I'll share my vision of what that looks like on the last slide, because I'm just seeing now we're an hour in and we're only on slide number 4. 6 steps to resilience. Number 4, raising genius children. Okay, this one I'll keep it nice and short because I shared a little bit about some of the from using effective tools for our children, like the ability to learn and the ability to forgive, right? If you want to learn more about those, you could just reach out to Mitchell or I. Mitchell, my husband / tech support, right? So it's not enough for us to just take responsibility as parents to do our best to change the world. We need to raise a next generation like we've never seen before. Okay? We're done with this one-off successful person, the lottery type of system. Okay? We're done with that. We now have tools where tools that both parents and the kids use, and if they do it, we'll get remarkable results. And so you have no excuse for you and your family to not be. You gotta reach out. You gotta reach out because after I'm done in this life, then we need our children to continue to create these systems that actually consider all life. You think the global elite don't have a 100-year vision? You think they don't have a generational vision? Then you're crazy. Because you were not supported from a very young age to have real vision. Well, real vision includes your children, supporting them to be absolutely exceptional. So that you on, they can to be a beacon where they're like, hey, like I am on this podcast, this live stream right now. I'm going, hey, so much so that my throat is tickling. All right. I said I'll keep this slide short, so let's go to the next slide. Okay. Ooh, I dabbled in this already. And I knew it was coming up. Guys, we're so out of touch with what it takes to fuel our survival. It's actually crazy. You know why I know this? Because I've been gardening for 6 years with the intention of growing as much of my food as I can. And I've gotten nowhere near what it takes. We have a milking cow coming next month, which is going to be very exciting because the amount of milk it's going to produce will likely sustain our family's dairy product need till my children get a little older, and then we're going to need 2 milking cows because they can already eat a lot. And I've been having these really cool realizations over the past year of just how amazing it is to live when we do. The fact that the average person, for an extremely cheap price, can purchase goods from across the world is crazy. It's crazy. I'll be cooking and using all these different kind of spices and herbs and grains, all these different things. And I'm like, dude, I know this was not grown near me. I live in a very specific climate here in Minnesota. I am just blown away at how disconnected we are from this, actually. How much we just take advantage of what we have access to and don't even understand the implications of buying bananas at the store and how much infrastructure there is just for you to buy the freaking bananas. So, if you're online talking about food at all, because I know there's all this diet this and this diet that, but they don't know how to, they don't even know how to feed themselves, fuel themselves actually, and be resilient within that. I implore you, start becoming food resilient. Grow food, grow your own food. If you don't understand the implications of the current things happening in the global, all the different lack of fertilizer and the diesel prices and the drought and XYZ, there's not going to be food at the end of the year. There are tons of farms that didn't produce this year and will not. There's tons of orchards that will not produce. I'm not saying that how we've been running our food system and agricultural system is effective, because it's not. I'm not saying I agree that we should be using the fertilizer in the first place. But what I am saying is we're going to need to start taking responsibility for our own food and growing a community around us of people that grow their own food. Imagine if we all were so resilient that we didn't even need this global food distribution system because we all grew our own food and we all bought food from our local people. Can you even imagine that? I mean, drop the mic. I'll leave this slide there. 6, systems thinking. I dabbled a little bit into systems thinking earlier when I talked about vision, because that is definitely a part of systems thinking. Because we are so isolated into one day, into one activity, into one genre, into one culture, into one this, one that. We are so specialized and specific, one skill set. I mean, how long have you been told that you gotta choose a job, choose a career, and do the one that you're passionate about, school for? You gotta do that for the rest of your life till you can retire. The opposite of systems thinking, okay? If you live your life totally specialized, then you are gonna struggle. You, of course, are going to be living day to day. You, of course, are going to be living paycheck to paycheck. You, of course, are going to be highly beneficial from the global elite. Because you're not considering anything outside of that. That's what this whole conversation has been about. Starting to introduce, hey, let's start considering more things. Let's start considering how what we do affects this planet, how it affects other people, the consequences of our actions. If you're listening to this, you likely live in a first world country where you're not being directly affected by the things that someone say in a third world country is getting affected by. Guys, you're privileged. And you're like, oh, but I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Oh, but this, oh, but that. I'm telling you, you don't know what it's like. There's some people out there who are really genuinely, actually, in so much of survival, where their next meal is coming from for them or their family. They don't have time. They don't have time to be sad. They don't have time for all these, because all they got to do is worry about their food. Understanding this whole world system that we're all collectively part, you got to start having a little bit of systems thinking where you're considering a lot more in your life. In doing so, in starting to consider more things, it's going to support you to see, oh, this will affect this will affect that. And then slowly but surely, you're going to see the value of your daily actions, and you're going to see how you're creating something real, measurable, applicable, productive. And then after you, over time, review of your actions and see the fruit of your labor, you realize, man, I could do even more. I can create more. I can do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. to share, right? Like, I can grow a whole garden and do my best to produce as much food as possible. I can get a milking cow. I can have these chickens. I can put on global events. I can put on local events. On my socials, I can host women's groups. I can do it. But why can I do all of that? Plus raise 2 children and be a wife and other things? Is because I have developed these 6 ways of being resilient for real. To be able to have the ability to be a systems thinker. Because I'm outside of my basic survival. Because I'm not constantly being affected by the things around on a physical and emotional level. I am resilient for real. And I am only become more. Do you think I'm resilient right now? You just wait. This snowball just started rolling down the mountain. Okay? And if you want a piece of this action, you got to reach out to my husband or I. You got to get exposed and get exposed to our community, you guys. So amazing. So if you haven't checked out, let's watch a couple of these quick before I move on. I love. Let's get you. I'll share my screen as soon as I get our page pull up. Guys, Katie Cope. She is so amazing. Watch this. Okay, which one are we going to watch from her? She just started the beginning. Wait, let's go this.
I had someone message me the other day asking about off-grid, and they were saying they were a little embarrassed because they didn't really know anything about it and they were still living in an apartment in the city. Never feel embarrassed to message me or ask me questions. That's something that I'm super focused on, which is that in the city I'm buying all of my stuff from the grocery store to how can I take some level of self-responsibility for my food. So when it comes to off-grid, I am not off-grid. I think there's a lot of really cool people doing off-grid. So here's why I don't think off-grid is for everybody, especially if a lot of this stuff is new. You can read books all day about ideas and ranching and off-grid, or you can watch videos of other people doing it. But it's a totally different animal to actually go and apply it for yourself. You still have to deal with a lot of limitations in your mind of what you think you're capable of and what you can slowly over time become comfortable with. And the reality is taking more responsibility for your food workload. It requires some level of resource. It requires you to build a community. It requires you to connect with your neighbors. And it especially requires you to be willing to learn from other people already doing it, conventional and unconventional. I've learned so much just from farmers in my area, people who are doing it, you know, the corn and soybean route, and also people who are very unconventional. Now, I know not everybody has access to all the resources they need to be able to control their. The government is not going to just come in and give us all access to that. You have to start communities together. So if you're living in an apartment, you start educating yourself now, start connecting with other people that you resonate with, that want to do the same thing that you're doing. Start growing a tomato plant on your patio, work with your community gardens, start connecting with farmers and ranchers near you and outside the city who use as a resource later on down the road. That connection in that community right now is one of the most important to create versus trying grid where sometimes some people experience the point where they start isolating themselves. I had someone message me the other day asking about off-grid.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of her many. You guys, you got to check out. Okay. Go look at her page. Go watch them for yourself. She's amazing. Okay. She is an example of someone who's taking on the responsibility of becoming resilient for real. So I love living alongside her, even though she is down in Texas. So not quite as long as she was, but moving right along. Check it out. I did on my first live stream because I love it so much. If you want to teach people a new way of thinking, don't bother trying to teach them. Instead, give them a tool, the use of which will lead to new ways of thinking. That's what you have here, friends. If you haven't heard about it, you need to reach out because we need a population who are thinking new ways now more than ever. So when the whole world is running towards a cliff, he who is running in the opposite direction appears to have lost his mind. Okay. So instead of running off the cliff with this global system, how about we choose to not and go the opposite direction? You want to join me? That's what I'm doing. And I'm running as fast as I can. And I'm trying to find as many people as I can so we can run even faster together. Okay? Will you join Team Humanity? Let's get to planet 2, right? Let's meet all the basic needs of humanity in a way that does not destroy this planet. Wow, what a crazy concept. My vision is that. This is me on our stage at one of our festivals that we threw. We built that stage. Okay? It was so awesome. Our community is so great. But I outside the window just now on the stage. Guys, I will stand on as many stages as necessary, in front of as many people as necessary to get this out. Let's start creating systems that don't just create abuse for humans and abuse for this planet. It starts with education, starts with changing the education system, changing culture, and then we can change politics. Let's go from there. My vision for a more resilient world is where each individual is robust. Individual is anti-fragile even. Each individual where no matter what happens, they're stable. And they get only stronger in the process. Okay? Where no matter what happens to the global elite, what they're trying to implement, we can stand. And we can influence them. A piece of cake. We just need you to reach out to us. We can come together. More community of people who are more resilient than the current in place, because the current system is actually very fragile. So if we collectively become very anti-fragile, very resilient, there's nothing that the global elite can fucking do. Hello? Hello. My vision is to become so resilient. There's nothing the global elite could do to touch me, or my community, or my children. My vision is that we no longer require a global elite to meet the basic needs of all of humanity, which they're failing to do anyways. Guys, it's not about money. It's not about control. That's not what your life amounts to. That's not what you want. Okay? You want your own basic needs to be met in a way that doesn't create abuse in this world. You want everyone's basic needs to be met. How much more we could create and have fun if everyone's basic needs were met in a way that didn't produce abuse. You can imagine that. So, my vision is that you can start to have the vision, that same vision, so that we can start to create it together. By each of us individually starting with ourselves, coming together in real community that's based on agreements. You checked out those amazing principles in the Self-Perfected page. Check those out again. Get to know them. Reach out to Mitchell, my husband. Reach out to me. Learn about the tools I'm talking about. Learn about our community. Join Self-Perfected Facebook group. Get on our Zoom calls on Friday nights. Listen to the podcast on Sunday mornings. Listen to Mitchell's live stream in the morning. Listen to Cameron's live stream in the evenings. Get plugged in. This is what we're doing. We're in over 30 major cities around the world. Our group is resilient. Actually resilient. Because we don't have a leader. Each person in our group is choosing to be a self-leader. Not because it happened. You're still going to stand. So if you want to stand for real in your life, you should join us. Reach out. Okay. This will be my live stream for today. I'll be back next Tuesday, 5 p.m. with another juicy topic at hand. Look forward to seeing you